All right, welcome back to Meet Us in the Ring. As you can see, I have a new co-host right now. This is
Not Maddie.
Tino.
Hey,
I
what's
know.
up?
Unfortunately,
Sorry, guys.
Maddie cannot be here with us today, but that's okay. Tino is gonna give Maddie vibes. He's
I'll do my
gonna
best.
he's gonna hate
No,
on Logan Paul for us and all that good stuff.
I got you. Whatever you need. Can never replace Maddie, but
No, never. She's my girl. She's my ride or die. But why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself in case people in the chat or anybody who's going to see this hasn't seen your channel yet, and then we'll go ahead and get started with Money in the Bank.
Well, I appreciate it. If you don't know, as you said, I'm Tino. I have my channel on YouTube, Tino's Time Wrestling and stuff like that. I do watch alongs, preview shows, everything gaming. It seems to be no matter what, if there's something on TV, I'm always live for it. People call me the marathon man. They've come up with nicknames that I don't even come up with myself, and I'm just like, sure, okay, whatever. But yeah, all the time. I always say, if you ever want to find me, I'm always on YouTube on Tino's Time. So we actually just hit 3,000 subscribers yesterday or Friday,
Yeah.
whatever day. I forgot. I always like to make sure, how the subscribers like to go up and down. So,
Mm-hmm.
well, yeah, I appreciate it. We've been trying to get on the channel for a while, and I'm happy to finally be able to come on and hang out and talk. What was a crazy Money in the Bank pay-per-view last night?
I know. And for people asking where Maddie is, she is taking some personal time. I promise she'll be back next week. Don't worry about it. But it's all good. And as you guys can see, I'm not in my normal setup. I am not at home right now, but we're making it work. My microphone is currently on a cardboard box, but we do what we got to do.
You gotta do what you gotta. I did a podcast a couple weeks ago on my way home from Chicago. I'm back to Wisconsin, so you gotta do what you gotta
Really?
do. Yeah.
I know, and
So.
you go live like 7 days a week. I'm like, how? How do you do this?
People ask me all the time, and the bit I always like to tell the backstory with my channel real quick because we'll be here forever if I start talking. But my channel's name is Tino's Time, and my nickname is Tino because my full name is Trent Tino. So. And the reason why it's time is because it's Tino's time, and it's everything I do in my spare time anyway. I watch wrestling, I play video games, I watch baseball, whatever. And that's just, I look at it as I'm sitting here watching it anyway. So why not come and hang out with people? And there's been so many people I've met that I never would have probably met if I would not. Because I'm like how you said before we were recorded, I would record it. I'd wait till like 9, 8 o'clock, 8:30, and I'd skip it because commercials, all the nonsense, this and that. And we're actually doing something on the channel right now where we're like trying to figure out how much time we waste on each commercial during each show. So like last week on Raw, we did it. During Money in the Bank, we did it. And so it's like I'm trying to figure out how much time we actually waste sitting there on these commercials because we really do. And then especially these pay-per-views too, because these ads are ridiculous. So
Dude, crazy.
I can't. And now we're adding Slim Jim to tables, and now there's new promotions on these mats. And it's like the promotions don't bother me, but now it just seems like it's like they could promote. Anybody could promote something now. Like it was fine when it was just the Logan Paul's prime, and so. But I don't know.
I mean, still don't even love that, but yeah, there's way too many on the mat. It's just completely covered. Like, if I wanted to watch UFC, I would because
Yeah.
that's where it all is. So,
So yeah.
Let's see who we got in the chat. We got
Hey, we got Leo.
Leo.
Got Leo
We
in
have
the house. What's up,
Trey.
guys?
We have Caden. Eric. Tino used to stream 3 NFL games in a row on Sunday. Is that true?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
My gosh.
So you know how I was telling you how I got my watch hours? So there was during one of the football seasons, I went live for 12, 3, and some of the 7 o'clock games. So I'd be live 8, 9 hours a day and just watch football. And it was funny because time would go by so fast because I'm just sitting here watching the games. I got 6 games on at once, and I don't know. People call me crazy, but it gives me a different type of like feeling, and like I get like a different type of like adrenaline from it, and I don't know. It like gives me something to look forward to every day. But yeah, so.
Oh, I love that. And do you have like a normal job too, or like do you just do this?
So I do YouTube. I do like Uber Eats, DoorDash. I actually also have a disability too, and I'm very open about it. I actually just did a podcast and talked about I have cerebral palsy. So I get like
okay.
and stuff like that. So I have like a bunch of different incomes, and I used to help my grandma. So I get through day by day, but YouTube isn't the only thing. But that I do have like my watch hours, so we are monetized. You were talking about super chats earlier and stuff. So that is the other thing that does help because I am now like I get paid to watch Raw, NXT, whatever it is. So
Isn't that the dream?
isn't
To
it?
get paid to just watch the things that you love.
If I was getting paid like Logan Paul money and Mr. Beast money, we'd be way much better. But it's little by little, day by day. Doesn't happen overnight, people. So
We'll get there. We'll get there.
yeah. So, well, yeah.
All right. Well,
That's me.
to start off, well, actually, really quick before we talk about Money in the Bank, we'll talk about Worlds Collide just kind of briefly. We had Stephanie Vaquer and Lola Vice versus it was Tormenta and who was their partner?
I will be honest, I do not know how to pronounce half those people's names, and I failed
Yeah.
miserably. So I don't
Well,
even
we're not
try.
gonna like go over the whole thing, but
Yeah, I think it was like I forgot what their names were, to be honest.
yeah, guys, do what you always do because I'm terrible with names. Let me know in the comments.
Listen.
But they had a tag team match, and then Stephanie is a workhorse. She had 3 matches in less than 24 hours. That is insane.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think people realize how much, especially too on Saturday, she had to go from one arena to the other arena, and that's a pain in the butt. And then traffic, I'm sure, is not fun in LA. So it's not that easy, and especially because was that the first match on the card, right? Yeah. Yeah. So that was that's the other thing too. What if she would have been late? Like I know the tag team match was early on, but you don't know what could happen. I mean, shoot. So
yeah, she could have had trouble getting into the building. She could have had endless traffic. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
So shout out to her. She is such a workhorse. But we'll start with the women's Money in the Bank match, which was Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Julia, Roxanne Perez, Naomi, and Stephanie Vaquer. Who did you have for winning this? Like, who did you think was going to win?
I wanted Roxanne to win, but I also said there was a chance for Naomi because I also said, and they've been doing it. Hopefully, they continue to do it, especially with the women, the customized briefcases. I said they're totally waiting to make that caution briefcase. So I wanted Roxanne to win, but I had a feeling there could be a chance for Naomi. But
I really wish that Naomi would have won as her Glow character, though, because 100% I would have bought a Glow briefcase.
If it glue in the dark, man, oh my, that would be so cool. It's
that
funny
would have been
too.
so
I
good.
just got her action figure that showed up that had the one where she returned from the Royal Rumble and everything. And you're absolutely right. But yeah, and I've always loved the custom briefcases, no matter who it was, from like RVD, Mr. Kennedy, from even Damian Sandow's. It was different. It was just something that we, it just, I don't know. I've never liked like the bland, and I don't know, the green and white ones just don't do it for me. Even Seth with that, like I don't know, I just think of the gold briefcase with Seth.
Yeah. I mean the white one, like I don't mind it. I think it's pretty, but like I have Tiffany's and I love the pink. I love the pink one. Amazing. I took it to WrestleMania in Vegas. I mean, I didn't go to WrestleMania, but I took it to Vegas. And I love it so much. Yes, I was there. I was in the vicinity.
There you go. Whatever.
But yeah, so I don't think I'll be buying the caution briefcase, but I am so happy for Naomi. I really thought they were going to give it to Rhea Ripley just because they've been giving a lot of things to Rhea lately. So I just didn't know, but I am so happy for Naomi. I think she's going to end Tiffy time.
Yeah, and that was the thing too, where I even said it too. Wait, you said Rhea or Naomi? I'm sorry.
For what?
For that's gonna end Tiffy time. Naomi's gonna end Tiffy time.
Yeah, Naomi's gonna end Tiffy time.
Yeah, see, and I agree with you on that because that was my thing with like Rhea winning was like I feel like there's no reason for Rhea to win. Yes, we're gonna get Mommy in the Bank. That's so cool, but she already faced Io. We don't need to see Tiffany and Rhea. So Naomi winning, and I think that's what is going to happen with that. Where and I do hope for briefcase purposes, I feel like as of late, the last like 4 or 5 years, especially, I feel like we also always. I was waiting for Seth to cash in after the tag team match because both men were in there. This and that. We've seen it happen so many times the night of, and then all of a sudden we don't even get to see anything. So it's nice to see a show where they both get out of the show with the briefcase, and now we kind of see what can happen because I don't know. Money in the Bank always makes me like, because you never know. Now you got to
Yeah.
watch out. Cena and Jay and Tiffany and Io and shoot, even it sounds stupid, but even the U.S. titles, like again, Austin Theory did it. So, you never know.
We don't talk about that. That was a dark time.
That was all that was a dark time, but I'm just saying it happened. So don't put it past anybody. So. Well, yeah, no. So I'm definitely happy for Naomi, and after everything she's been through, and even like Mercedes sharing that moment and that picture last night, like after it's so cool to now see her be at the top and be with this character that I don't think anybody ever saw her being. Especially if you remember watching her in the NXT game show days when they were doing the dance competitions and all of the relay races and stuff. So it's really nice to see her be all the way here and now just go where this and that. And yes, I saw the thing about Jade. I think Jade will be a menace and could be a reason to like not let her do it, to like have it go on, because you know how they like to tease it. So maybe Naomi comes out a few times and Jade's like, nope, and attacks her. So.
Can you imagine though if Naomi, because they always talk about the women have 100% cash in success, and it's like if they make Naomi the first one to fail her cash in, I will lose my mind.
The problem is they keep talking about it, just like
Exactly.
baseball teams. Like today, the White Sox, they had a chance to sweep the Royals, and they kept talking about it. They're like, Sox are gonna sweep the Royals for the first time, this and that, blah blah blah. It's like, why do you keep talking about it? Because then it doesn't happen.
Yeah, stop putting it out there.
Yeah, like that. Like, come on. Like, it's just like, why? No.
Yeah. What was your favorite spot in this match?
I think it was the one with Alexa and Roxanne. And, I said it too yesterday. It's like Money in the Bank matches are always spot fest. Like, yeah, we're going to see a lot of cool different things, but it's always just them climbing up the ladders, this and that. And I'm the guy that goes back and watches all of them. So, like, we did a retro pay-per-view, and I go back and watch all the old pay-per-views. So it's like, they're not all the same, but they're all kind of similar, where they make a couple moves, they do a couple of great spots and this and that. But the Roxanne and Alexa one, and I've been a huge Roxanne fan because I love NXT and I love watching the rise of superstars, especially like Tiffany and Lyra, from watching their first video packages in NXT, from them now being champions and everything else, and that's what I love. So it was cool, especially because Alexa's always been one of my favorite. But yeah, for that, and then the one where who was it that like bounced off the ladder? Or no, they did the devil's kiss on the ladder.
Oh yeah,
they did the double. That's there we go.
To Rhea.
Yeah, there we go. Booker. I was trying to do my best Booker T. Nobody could. I'm surprised they haven't brought him to commentary yet. Just 1 week, just to do the freaking Stephanie match, just because.
But nah, he can stay. He can stay in NXT.
What's wrong with Booker T?
He too much.
You say you do too much. I mean, you're not wrong.
He does do
the
too
time
much.
of his life. I'm sure Sharmell slaps him around every time at the night. I'm sure.
His shucky ducky quack quack. I can't.
Shucky ducky quack quack moment of the night. Come on.
Well, I thought this match was really good, and yeah, Roxanne and Alexa doing the code reds onto the ladders. My heart skipped a beat because I was just so scared, and like they stress me out, and I just stress out about the safety all the time.
All the time. Well, have you ever seen the spot that Joey Mercury took, Joey Mercury took at Armageddon with the Hardy Boys?
No.
So there was a ladder match. It was a 6-person ladder match, and you'll have to look it up, but I think it was like Armageddon 2005 or 6. But that ladder literally bounced off of his head and his nose, and it's like oh, it was awful. Like, it was up. Bad. Oh, it was bad, and yeah. So maybe that shows my age to show how long I've been watching, but I've been watching wrestling since like 2004 or 5. So I'm like an encyclopedia. Like I used to be able to name every single Royal Rumble winner since 2003. Now I'm a little older, and stuff that happens, but my memory's not as good. But yeah, so yeah. But yeah, no, there's some really bad spots that's why like when you see when I see those, or like when like the guy's head's like sideways, or like when Cody put Kevin through that ladder. Oh my god,
my gosh.
I go like this. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, my whole body like tenses up.
Yeah, just not.
And I just remember last year when Zoe Stark, when she went to do her finisher and she hit her head on the ladder. And
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh,
I wanted
and
redemption for her for this year, but then she got injured again.
I know. So sadly, did you see she's gonna be out till after WrestleMania next year?
Really?
Yeah, they said that she's gonna be. They said at least until WrestleMania 2026.
That
And
is
it
such.
sucks with people like this, but it's also like I could totally see her coming back as like a huge baby face and getting over that she may not have gotten over because people have not really liked Zoe Starks too much, especially since she got called up to the main roster. Because I loved her in NXT. She was
Hmm.
another one. Like I love these NXT girls, and they all just seem to sometimes not go anywhere, and some do, but I think that's just also part of the business too. Because I said it with all the
Yeah.
releases, like if we didn't have all the releases, we probably don't have Julia, we don't have Stephanie, we don't have Roxanne in this match. We
Hmm.
probably got a Shayna Baszler and this and that, and it's like it sucks that the people got released, but I'm sure everybody's happy to have these three women on the main roster now, and Jordan's supposedly coming next.
And well, and this women's Money in the Bank is the most stacked of
Yeah.
any of them, in my
I was more
opinion.
excited for this one than the men's, and I'm usually more excited for the men's. And usually, I feel like the men has like a stacked one, and the men was kind. We'll talk about it obviously, but the men's was kind of like I really didn't know
Mid.
who was gonna win, and there was like an obvious choice, obviously, and it happened. But
Hmm.
like for a second there, it could have went a bunch of different ways. But yeah, no, the women's one I was so much more excited for.
Yeah, it was. It's just so good, and I'm just glad that nobody got hurt, as far as I know.
Yeah, I'm sure they're a little bruised, but they got this.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Um, I am shook. I'm shook that Becky beat Lyra. Yes, she cheated.
You're
Does
shocked?
yes, I'm
You didn't
shocked.
think this was gonna happen? What? Come on now.
No,
Come
because
on.
Lyra already
Becky
beat her
Lynch is.
twice. I thought this was gonna be like the Cody and Seth situation where Cody literally beat Seth 3 times in a row.
I know that was good times, but it was gonna happen because they want to give the title to Becky, and Lyra had a great run, but they want to give it to Becky now because then they can do Bailey and Becky, or yeah, Becky and Bailey. They can do
Hmm.
stuff like that, and now they're gonna try to make the Intercontinental Championship like. Because you know what I mean? You think about it, more people are going to watch that part now because Becky Lynch is the champion. And they're not going to, because I'm sure there's people, like, I'm sure there's people that still don't know who Lyra is. And they're just kind of starting to figure it out. But, so.
She's just gotten so much better. And I will
No,
admit, she has gotten better throughout this feud in part because of Becky, because there's that real emotion and that real connection behind it.
yeah.
But Becky didn't need this win. And I wish Bailey would have came out and cost her the match, and then they could have had their feud.
Yeah, I was waiting for that too. And you know what it is, because then Becky's gonna lose this, and then all of a sudden she's gonna be on SmackDown in the draft fighting for the US title, so then she can become a Grand Slam champion.
Boy,
Because
don't
remember,
manifest that.
they're not great. I'm just saying. Listen, I'm just saying because it's gonna happen. Just like Charlotte Flair, eventually she's gonna need to collect all these titles so she can say she's Grand Slam champion. It's just,
Can't.
it's just that's what it is, sadly, and that's why it's like even like over on NXT, I feel like we got JC Jane and people are like upset and kind of sucks because she's most likely a traditional champion, but she was the third woman in Toxic Attraction that everybody likes to say, but she's still here, she's still doing it, and it's just like so. Sadly, I think that that's just what it is with Becky. But maybe Lyra will go on to maybe we'll see Lyra and Io or something, or I don't know, because that's the thing is now where does Lyra go from here? Because
Exactly.
I feel like she only has to go up. Like you can't have her just go into a random feud. I think you have to have her fight like a main card person that's gonna continue, so she doesn't like drift into the oblivion of the women's roster again.
And I think she can have one more match with Becky, and if she loses, then that needs to be it. And if she wins, then Becky needs to move on elsewhere, because the fact that she literally made her return at WrestleMania and has already won 2 championships, that's crazy.
I mean, it just when they get just like Seth Rollins, that was why they find their person and they get it. That's why they
And
call
you
her
know what?
Becky Hogan.
But it's sus. It's sus that in the same night, Becky wins the title and Seth wins Money in the Bank. Who are they blackmailing? Because, hello?
The power couple. What do you mean?
But, like, they can't have that much influence. Come on now.
I mean, I'm sure they. Papa, I said it last night. Papa H loves himself. He's got his plan C. What do you mean? We had plan B 10 years ago. 11 years later, we got plan C, and now it's a new. I mean, because that's the thing. Like, and I'm sure we'll talk about it, but like, it just, that's the thing. And I mean, I feel like they definitely have some type of pull and power and something or another. I mean, they got it. The Triple H loves them. Come on now.
Seth has always been one of Triple H's golden boys, so
Day one-ish, since he had blonde streaks.
truly, since he was in the Authority.
Literally. Before the Authority, NXT days, he was holding up his,
true.
So
True,
it just
true.
goes way back. And that's the thing.
Well,
I think it sucks because, like, and that's like where it's like Triple H has his guys and his girls that he likes and he doesn't like, and now they're bringing different people in, and then they got AAA, and now they got all the AEW people, and they get, it's like a revolving door, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, how did you feel about this match overall?
I mean, I thought it was a good match. I think it definitely did its purpose, and I was not shocked Becky did not lose because I expected Becky to win just because, as I said, I thought that Becky now winning, now they're gonna try to have her try to elevate the title and maybe have some like bigger feuds, hopefully with a Bayley or something else like that, and that's just where I felt like. But like I said, like a minute ago, where does this bring Lyra? Because what is she going to do? Going into some random-ass tag team or some random feud that really does not matter? And you don't want to lose the momentum because WWE is great at that, losing the momentum of these superstars when they're so hot. Like Karrion Kross. Where the hell was Karrion Kross all weekend? So, well, yeah.
He was in catering.
So, I mean, I thought it was a good match. I think it went like 14 minutes and everything else. So, I mean, it was... and I was shocked that Lyra didn't like do anything else after Becky was like treating her like I don't even know what the heck we would call it, but just treating her so bad. So but it did its job.
Yeah, I don't know where Lyra goes from here, but hopefully it's up.
Yeah, hopefully.
Maybe. I mean, because we have Evolution 2 next month. But we also have Night of Champions this month, which is insane.
Did we really? Oh, God. That's
yes, we have Night of Champions at the end of this month, and then we have Evolution next month. And then
somebody in the chat tell me when that is so I don't forget. Because if you're here, because I put this on my community page, so hopefully we got a bunch of people from Tino's top. Make sure you guys all subscribe if you have not yet. But, I mean, like, I mean, that's, so I just...
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. I don't have the Dominic match on here just because that got added last minute yesterday, but we can talk about it briefly if you want to. I mean, how did you feel about that match?
I mean, I was listening to a podcaster right before we got on here, and the biggest problem I think that we have, and I always talk about it, a lot of people don't watch NXT. A lot of people probably aren't interested in Worlds Collide, aren't interested in AAA. So if you turn on Money in the Bank and you see Dominic performing, that's cool. But who is this guy that he's performing against? You have no idea. You're like, what is he? A guy from LWO? Is he a Rey Mysterio friend? Like, I mean, that's like my friend called me and he goes, "Is this guy?" Because he's a huge Rey Mysterio fan. So anything that's to do with Rey Mysterio and Dominic, he's like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "Who is this guy?" He's like, "Is he a new guy and part of LWO?" And I had to explain to him the AAA, and that's where it gets, where it's like, it was a good 9-minute match. They needed to have another match on the card, but we also could have had another match and everything. But I also think, again, a lot of people didn't watch Worlds Collide, so you were probably confused, and you turned on Money in the Bank and saw another match. But Dominic,
I was like, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So Dominic did what he had to do. I thought Octagon Jr. looked really good, and especially on Worlds Collide. But again, I'm a wrestling junkie, and you can only watch so much wrestling. So I just, but that's the thing where it just certain people probably just had no idea. But if you love Dominic, you probably enjoyed it, and It's just they're just trying so hard to get this AAA over. Where like it's just so hard to keep track of everybody and everything that's going on. That I just like AEW. They got 60 titles, and I couldn't tell you who's the champion right now. So, yeah.
Well, and I think another problem was that with Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank being on the same day, people most likely had to choose. Okay, am I going to pay to go to Worlds Collide, or am I going to pay to go to Money in the Bank? And I don't know if you noticed, but that crowd was looking sparse.
Yeah.
Based on what I saw. And that is not good because they already are talking about, WWE stock kind of going down and like people are trying to get out and all that stuff. And like, that's what happens when you put two pay-per-views pretty much on the same day in the same city. Like, people aren't going to pay for both because
that's why
nobody
they
can
need
afford
to do,
that.
well, that, and they need to make sure they could do like a double package where like when I go to like events, like I do like the weekend package where it's like I remember one where I went to like it was SmackDown, NXT Takeover, Survivor Series, and Raw and stuff like that, and it's just like and it wasn't bad. I think it was like $400. It was like $100 a ticket or whatever. But it's
That's
just
not bad.
like these tickets are $40,000. How do you expect anybody to go to these shows? And then they announced WrestleMania going back to freaking the Legion Stadium, and it's just like, why? And it's like, I get it, making all the money, all the blah blah blah, but how are you going to be able to get fans like me or somebody that like might not be able to go? Like, I totally put the money out to go if it was closer and I could be able to not lose my house that I live in and have electric the next day. And it's just like, that's like, I love going to wrestling shows, but you also got to realize that like a lot of money and a lot of things that we just don't have now, and that's not even including the food, the gas, the parking, the this, the that. Like I went to Chicago
The
and I went to a
flights.
White Sox game, and I got free tickets, but I still spent $100 because I had to buy my cousin food, I had to buy parking. It just it's a lot. It's you can't go nowhere without spending money now, and it just sucks because they're all. Have you looked at these prices for these priority passes? It's disgusting.
No.
Oh, it's awful. It's like it's just like nobody has $5,000 to go to a wrestling event. Like, and then it's like if you and Maddie want to go, that's $10,000. Who the heck has $10,000?
That's what I'm saying. Me and Maddie talked about it. If we go to Vegas for next year's WrestleMania, we're not going to WrestleMania just like we did this year. We're going to Circa where they have the stadium swim because we felt so bougie on our day beds watching a giant screen.
And it was only imagine.
It was a good time. We were in the pool, so that's a much better experience than being cramped sitting next to people and everybody got BO. You know what I'm saying? So
and some of these wrestling fans don't know how to, and I even catch myself doing it. Where I like before I go into the show, I make sure to spray myself, or because it just. Some of these people are like, I went to Water City WrestleCon. I actually just did my vlog this morning and stuff. And there were some people there. My mom was like, is this how it is? Because she's never been to one. I'm like, yes. And like, she was like, this is shocking. I'm like, Mom, you wait till you go to an event. This is just a gym. I'm like, wait. So,
Yeah, I mean, these ticket prices are just out of control, and it's like, oh, well, that's why we're getting all these sponsorships because we need money. But it's like, how about you don't have 20,000 pay-per-views every year, and you lower the ticket prices because then more people will come.
Yep. Because you mentioned pay-per-views on the same day. Did you notice that we have NXT Great American Bash and Saturday Night's Main Event on the same day?
Why?
And then Sunday is Evolution 2, I think, right? Yeah.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, July 13th. Yeah.
I can't.
I know.
I can't with this.
Like imagine I was talking about it. I just did an interview with somebody that I do and I like work with on the Main Event Network and everything, and we were talking about it. Like, imagine if these pay-per-views were still on like DirecTV, like $49. Who's spending $150 a month to watch wrestling?
Absolutely not.
You can't. Like, it's just like I'm trying to like have gas and electricity and like
we're in a recession.
Yeah, like I had one person last year trying to run me down and trying to like hunt me down for $600 for a sponsorship. And I'm like, bro, I'll give it to you when I have it. I need to make sure I have my electric on so I can sleep at night. Like, what? No, go away. So
Yeah.
I'll go on a rant about money, though. I'm sorry. Back to
No, I mean, it's so valid, like, because these ticket prices are just ridiculous. And then Triple H every, press conference is like, oh, this is the highest gate that we've had, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, boy, if you don't stop.
I want to know how they get the highest gate if it's the same arena. So you're telling me they're not sold out every pay-per-view then? Because you say it, but how are you adding more seats somehow? Where? Into the rafters outside? Like, are we at Wrigley Field where they got the outfield seats and the upper deck where you, like, come on now. Like, that's my thing. Because it's like, how are we having more people? Like, next year, they're going to break the record at Allegiant Stadium. But we just had the same thing.
Yeah,
they think if they have it black and white, like it's an NXT takeover, it's gonna make a difference.
But also, like we've mentioned this before, that WrestleMania crowd was ass. Okay, like because the real not the real wrestling fans, but the fans who can afford to go or who can't afford to go, but are like diehard wrestling fans, they weren't there. The people who were there were the people who could afford to go, and sometimes those people don't know how to have fun. Just saying.
And the biggest thing is, like, I'm sure there were a lot of like celebrities, like the George Kittles of the world, or the green shirt guy. I saw the green shirt guy at the press conference yesterday. So I don't know if that man's working, what the hell's going on. But I saw him at the press conference. But I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's just like I don't know, like how they just expect to. It's too much. It really is.
Yeah.
I can't.
I mean, we're talking about money in the bank. Where is this money? It's not in my bank. That's all I'm saying.
I got no. I just had that was the thing, and it was funny because you mentioned like about like having to pick one. I was watching Worlds Collide live, and I was doing a garage sale outside, so I'm looking out my window every 5 seconds. Nobody's stealing something outside, and I'm like, so it's just like, and that's the thing. It's like it's so hard to like, and that's the thing. Why are we having these? I get like the time zone ones. But why are we having a show at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when we could have very well? They could have just done Worlds Collide today at 6 o'clock, to be honest, if they really want.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been way better.
Yeah, and maybe more people would have watched because there's like nothing on tonight, and again, it's also too like I don't know why they're doing so many during the summer because I feel like there's not as many people. Like people would rather be outside right now than be watching wrestling, especially if it's nice. I don't know if it's nice. In Wisconsin, it's went 3 different seasons today, so
it's I'm in Northern California right now, and yesterday it was like 90, and today it's like 70, and I'm like, this is it's a mess. But
and that's the thing too. It's just like all like that's the thing. It's like the people that they're like trying to like please is the celebrities that have a lot of money. But, like, there's a lot of people that love wrestling, but there's a lot of celebrities that just want to say they were at WrestleMania because it's like being at the Super Bowl. I went to the Super Bowl. And it's just, like, it's not, like, like, you want fans like me or you or Maddie that are going to scream, make it fun, and, like, that's just what makes me mad about these big arena shows because I'd love to go. And I know dang well they ain't coming anywhere near me in the Midwest because it's cold. We got no, like, dome stadiums anywhere, so it just sucks.
Well, I'm glad you said it because whenever we say it, people just say we're complaining. So
I don't care. Get used to. I complain all the time. People can get mad at me. I don't really care. That's what I've learned too. Like you complain, this and that. It's all our opinions. Say what you got to say because if you don't like it, again, all you got to do is not watch. And we talked about that earlier. Me and you, we still got to watch it because you still have an episode to do. I still have to sit here and watch it for 3 hours a week. But so, I always say, got to make the shows entertaining somehow, especially when we are doing watch-alongs. We sit here for 3 hours. We got to find something to talk about. So
seriously, but speaking of people we like to complain
John
about here,
the YouTuber, he doesn't even have a name.
Nope, John Cena and that blonde YouTuber versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. We have coined that for this channel because we don't like saying his name because we don't like it being put into the algorithm.
Well, I will say one thing about that YouTuber. The one thing I always like to say is he was one of us, and he was one of these guys that were just sitting there doing different things and stuff like that. So the fact he's now teaming with John Cena and doing stuff like this after watching him doing and wanting to do this his whole life, I think it's just so cool because he started as just doing YouTube, and now he's freaking main eventing and or not. Well, I guess kind of main eventing shows and performing at WrestleMania. So that's always what I like to say because you don't have to like him, but I always just think it's so cool because again, he's kind of one of us at the end of the day, or just like Mr.
Well,
Beast. He what's up, but that's just how I feel. But everybody's got their own opinions about him and shouldn't get mad about it because that's just how it is. So,
I just, yeah, I mean, like, as someone who obviously does this, if I got the opportunity to do a match, obviously, yeah, I'd be stoked and I would love to do that. Am I gonna try to then present myself as a WWE superstar and I'm gonna be full time and be on the road and I'm better than everybody? Absolutely not. Like, Bad Bunny did it so well and so right when he was there kind of consistently because he was the 24/7 champ at one point. So
Yeah.
it's just like seeing the way that Bad Bunny went about it because you knew that he was a lifelong wrestling fan and like you felt it in his soul. And with Logan, it's just it's not that. It's not that. It just isn't. So, but I know this was technically the main event, but we didn't think it should have been the main event, so I'm
Neither
just putting
did
it
I.
here.
Neither. I didn't. I
Um,
didn't think it is. And like I said, I was more excited. I thought the women were going to main event at one point because I felt
Me
like we
too.
talked about it was more stacked than the men, and so
Yep.
yeah.
But I'm glad that Cody and Jay won. I don't really have much to say, so whatever you want to say about this match, the floor is yours.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you watch too much of my channel or anything. You see so I'm a big John Cena fan, so I love him. I love John
Mm.
Cena, but and that was the thing. I am very happy Cody and Jay won just because I feel like if John was gonna win every single match on this retirement tour, that would not be fun. So it's good that he's gonna lose, and it's good to see Logan and John kind of fight because it should be interesting to see where we go. Because I lost track of the dates, but in case anybody is wondering, we were down to 20 dates of John Cena, so. I lost track there for a second. I was trying to figure it out, and somebody said it today. So, it should be interesting to see where they did and what they do and everything. And I knew there were going to be shenanigans, but the shenanigans that we saw, I did not expect to see because I said it in my preview show. I felt like it was going to be the same way that it ended, the same way John Cena matches have ended since he turned heel. I feel like that's how they're all going to end as of late, unless some type of shenanigans happen because that's just what John's doing. He's ruining wrestling, and you might not like it, but that's just that's what the character is. And, so that's what it was. But when we saw the return of R-Truth, now known as Ron Killings, it was funny because we all see all these black hoodies and everything, and it's usually like something else and this and that. And when it happened, I'm like, wait, who is that? And there were some people that I saw that made some comments. I'm like, who? What? As soon as I saw John, I'm like, it's R-Truth. It's got to be R-Truth. Who else could it have been? Was R-Truth? And
I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
People could say it's not a work, it's not this and that, but I think R-Truth has a lot of see. It's like I think that it kind of was, but I also think it kind of wasn't. To where like I think they released him because he wanted to go work on his music. He's always been in big music. He's always done this and that. And I said it as soon as he got released. I'm like, what if he just wants to move on? Maybe he's got other things he wants to do. But maybe he saw the love and the support and was like, maybe I could figure out some other way. And I think it's so cool that he came back as Ron Killings because we might see a whole different R-Truth that we may have never seen. And maybe that's what the whole thing was, is that R-Truth died when John Cena killed him. And now we're going to see Ron come out and just destroy him. And maybe we see John and Ron again. And I don't know why I keep saying John, but, I think it's just because. But, so Cena and Truth and Ron, I think we're going to see it again at some point. But I'm so happy that he's back. And I hope we get that. And I'm kind of sad because I don't know if we will, but I want that Ron Cena shirt to go back up on WWE's shop. I missed out on it. So. That's what I'm excited for. We need some action figures. I'm a big collector, so I love like that Tiffany. You talk about the Tiffany briefcase. They announced an
Mm-hmm.
Ultimate Edition, a Tiffany with the briefcase. So I'm so
Oh.
excited. I'm like, so, but yeah. So I am so excited to see what Truth does and everything. I just hope it doesn't. We always have these big moments at pay-per-views, and then we don't go anywhere with them. So
Mm-hmm.
let's hope that's
I
because
I
Cena is
refuse.
advertised for Raw and SmackDown. I think this week. So.
Oh. Well, I refuse to believe that this was all a work. And Triple H can play into it when he said in the press conference, he was like, are you enjoying the show?" Acting like this was all completely part of the plan. I refuse to believe that with the Miz posting and Naomi and Rhea and like no
I
way
mean,
everybody was
Kathy
in on
Kelly
it.
was crying.
That's what I'm saying. No way everybody was in on it and like
No. And if they were doing a fantastic job. I'll give
yeah.
WWE credit for killing it. But I don't see Triple H having a giant ass meeting and be like, listen, we're gonna pretend to fire Truth and everybody act like that was real emotions
Yeah.
for people. And you can't fake real emotions. Like there's been certain times where certain people like before, like I just whatever, like there'd be times where people get released or this or that, and I would get really upset. And it's just like, but then and you see how much it sucks that it takes like the injury like Zoe Starks. It sucks that it takes an injury or somebody getting fired to finally show how much you actually appreciate somebody. That's what makes me mad.
Yeah.
It's like, why didn't we
Yeah.
appreciate that when they were here? Why did like Karrion Kross? I always talk about Karrion Kross. Nobody liked Karrion Kross. Everybody hated Karrion Kross. And then all of a sudden, everybody is in love with this man and they want him to win Money in the Bank. And it's like, where were you when he was the NXT champion in the NXT Black and Gold days and this and that? And you might not have been watching wrestling then, and I completely understand, depending on when you started. But like, I feel like you got to like go back, or like when Shayna Baszler was here, like people forgot how good she was in NXT. Like she should have been champion multiple times, and she just got screwed. So
Maddie never lets me forget it that how dominant Shayna was in NXT.
so great, so
well,
great. Oh yeah, no, in this tag team match, it did its job. It was what it was, and it should not have been the main event though.
No. What could have been the main event instead? I mean, I wish it would have been the women's, but because I think that Money in the Bank ladder match should be the main event of Money in the Bank. Because imagine if Royal Rumble wasn't like the main event of Royal Rumble.
There has been there has been times that it hasn't been the main event.
When? I don't remember.
It was when The Rock competed at one. I think it was 2013. No.
Okay, well,
yeah, 2013. What?
Not going that far back.
Listen, I go all the way back to 2005 if you want me to.
No, I like to pretend that a lot of things before.
So when did you start? When
2014
did you start watching it like consistently and everything?
Consistently, I would say 2014 because then I went to my first WrestleMania 2015. I went to WrestleMania 31. So,
hey, heist of the century we were talking about. You were there.
I know.
So cool. Hey, now. So, hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I would say 2014 was when I started watching consistently. I watched like in the 90s and early 2000s with my brother growing up, but I stopped obviously like for a long time after that. So the Ruthless Aggression era is like what I have the least amount of knowledge about because that's the time that I wasn't watching. So it's like I know some of the Attitude Era, and then it's like the reality TV and PG era till now. So
I feel you, and that's funny that you say that because that's how I was. Like my parents watched it, my family watched it. My dad and my cousins were the reason why I got into it because the whole 2000s, the Stone Colds, the Rocks, and as they started adding superstars and this and that, everybody started not liking it because it was so hard to keep track of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm the only one that watches it in my family, and it's funny because like I'm like, you guys are the reason why I watch it. And there's been times where like I try not to. And it's like, well, okay, I need to find out what happens, and I always just have it, And it definitely helps. I do the podcast now, but like we talked about, like there's so many times I would just record Raw and skip through it because we would like so much time wasted. So
yeah, but let's talk about the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Obviously Seth Rollins won. Listen, everyone says, oh, that was the obvious choice. Oh, how did you guys not see that coming? Because he's already won one. So why would I want that or expect him to win again. Like he literally had, debatably the biggest cash in history, and yet here we are again.
Well, there is another man that has held it twice, right?
Yeah, CM Punk.
Okay. Well,
And Edge, right?
Yeah, did Edge hold it twice?
I think Edge also held it twice.
Yeah, he did because he won it and then he beat Mr. Kennedy.
Because but CM Punk was like back to back.
Yeah, but no, it's funny though that they're both now the only two that are 2-time Money in the Bank winners. So that was something I was just thinking about, like the last day or whatever. I was just like, that's interesting because now that just adds again to their story. And I don't know how many more times you're gonna want to see Seth and Punk and everything. But that's the thing. I mean, Seth has so many accomplishments. All we're just doing at this point is just adding to it. And that's why, like, I wanted somebody like an LA Knight to win, or like I wanted somebody like a Carmelo Hayes, a Karrion Kross on this match, is because I always feel like Money in the Bank is so good when there's 6 people that you don't know who is going to be, where like Money in the Bank always turns into somebody like Seth Rollins in 2014. He was the third. He was probably the third guy in the Shield, the second guy in the Shield. He was this and that. And after he won Money in the Bank, he took off his vest. He started becoming the architect. He started beating everybody. And then he had the heist of the century. And that's what, like, it was so good about it. Or even, like, some of the women that we've seen go out and win it right away and go out. And it's just, like, that's what I've always loved about Money in the Bank. And that's why it's like, I personally don't like people like Seth winning. Because it's like Seth's already going to winning. Like, he could find easy way to get to the briefcase or get to the title. But somebody like LA Knight or even Penta or Andrade or even Solo last night. Solo was making me laugh all night long last night. And now we hate Solo. So, but yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too. It's like sometimes with these matches, they always set up something else because we saw Bronson Reed. We saw Braun Breaker. We saw Jacob Fatu. We saw JC Mateo. So it seems like we're getting Jacob and Solo at SummerSlam for the U.S. title. And I don't know what we're doing with Seth. And that's the thing. It's like now that Seth has Money in the Bank, who is he cashing in on? Jay, Cena? Is he like, I don't know.
A lot of people in the comments seem to think that it's going to be Jay on Monday, tomorrow. So, I mean, that would be quick, which I don't want Seth to have a long Money in the Bank. I want to see
a visionary, like, customized briefcase. Oh, he can make something so good if they really want to. But that's the thing. It's like I feel like they think that they can't do that with people. Where it's like you could have 2 customized briefcases. They talk about making money. Imagine how much money they'd make. Like I said it yesterday. I'm like, imagine how many people are gonna buy that caution briefcase after Naomi wins, because there's gonna be so many people, and then they're gonna make it an action figure for him, and then they're gonna, it's all about the money. And it was funny. I don't know if you ever watched Maven's videos, but he even said that the people from like Mattel and stuff always told him to change his attire and do different things so they can make different things and make money on different stuff. So attire, belts, whatever it is. I mean, John Cena's coming out with a new shirt every time he shows up. I bought his first 2 shirts. I was like, okay, maybe once a month, every week. I can't keep up. It's like,
well, yeah, every city has to have their own shirt.
And he's not even coming to anywhere near me, so I'm not even going to be able to get a customized, like, Chicago shirt or, man, I don't know. But, yeah, no, I wanted LA Knight to win, though. Third time's the charm, I really thought, because what are we doing with LA now? There's been those rumors of Triple H not liking LA Knight, but I don't know. that was my thing, and I love Seth. I always will. It's Bears fan for life. We got to stick together, so, but I can't. I don't know what Seth's doing with this, and he's got Bronson and Braun and Bronson. You don't need the briefcase.
I know. And like, listen, I have been a fan of Seth Rollins since the Shield day. He was always my favorite Shield member, and I've loved him ever since. But I can say with my whole chest, he should not have won Money in the Bank. It should have been LA Knight, or honestly, I would have been fine. Like, I put Penta as my prediction just because I just wanted to be like different.
Sometimes you gotta say it. It might happen. You never know.
I mean, I just because I created a scenario in my head of like if he won Money in the Bank, because they're doing this partnership with AAA, and obviously he was very big in Mexico and like trying to make it more seamless for the transition. And I don't know, that I came up with my justifications, but it should have been LA Knight. I could have I could have been on board with Andrade. But I do think he's gonna leave WWE soon, especially, you
Again?
know.
You think so?
Well, because him and Charlotte are getting divorced again. So I'm like, it's it
I mean, just go to a different. Honestly, yeah, honestly,
but
you're
and I
honestly
knew
right though.
it definitely wasn't gonna be El Grande Americano. It wasn't,
How do you
and
know? The
boy,
greatest
please.
luchador of all time.
But also, let's give him credit. Oh, sorry, just kidding. Chad Gable had a match at Worlds Collide, and El Grande Americano had a match at Money in the Bank. Definitely not the same person.
No, they're not. Like we talked about with Stephanie. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how they. I don't know. Like I said earlier before we started recording, I feel like this is like a 2K25 My Rise storyline.
Yeah.
Your curated superstar puts on a mask and we're just running around doing the like. I don't know how long it's gonna last and everything, but I mean, good for Gable because I've been thinking about it. Like, if you take off the mask, like the fact that Gable's performed in Money in the Bank at WrestleMania, he's doing these things. Finally, he's doing something after being Shorty G, being with American Alpha, with Jason Jordan back in the day. Like, that was like when he was good in NXT, and then he went to be in a Shorty, like the Shorty G that Vince turned him in. It was just, so
The
that's the
Shorty
way I
G was
kind of
so
look
bad.
at it. It's so bad. It was awful.
It was so bad.
That's the way I look at it, but I just, sometimes I can't get past the mask, and he just, but I always try to make things entertaining, and I try my best to, like, but it just, I don't know. Sucks Chad Gable still hasn't beat that at WrestleMania, though.
Eric said this felt like the last chance and lost again. I'm assuming you're talking about LA Knight. Yeah. I mean, they didn't capitalize on it when they had the chance. Instead, they gave him the US title.
They should have done it. I still remember that Money in the Bank. It was actually my first Money in the Bank like live stream I did here in Wisconsin before I moved here and everything. And I still remember sitting in my mom's living room being shocked. I think Priest won that one. And it was just like I get it, whatever, but like it's just like why? Or like Drew winning last year. Was it Drew last year? Yeah, it was just like there was no reason for it. They didn't need that feud with Punk and Drew. It was already heated enough. What was the point of him costing the Money in the Bank? Like, it just it didn't need it. So that's like with Seth. It's like, what does Seth do with it? Are we waiting until next year's WrestleMania? Are we getting Heist of the Century too?
Please no. Please no.
I'm gonna cut that clip, everybody, because watch if it happens. Just remember this episode.
No, I'm picking the clips, so they will not be cut. No, but Trey said, speaking of Gable, him versus Vikingo was awesome. And I think we're gonna see more of El Hijo de Vikingo. I think we're gonna see more of him. He's super over in Mexico, and I think
the one guy with the green too. What was his name? The iguana guy.
Oh, yeah. People were talking about him too.
He got real. He went viral yesterday. They made a T-shirt of this man.
I love that though. I love that.
I was so confused when they were doing moves to a puppet. I was like, what am I watching? I'm like, sure. But I said that. I'm like, that's exactly what this was gonna be. And obviously it was hard for a lot of people watching in the afternoon, not the Saturday, nice out, whatever. But I mean,
like I can't go to a pay-per-view at noon. I need at least several hours of pre-gaming before I can do that. That's crazy.
What kind of pre-gaming you do? What you got?
Oh.
You got the vitamins?
No. Gotta get the mark, gotta get the seltzers,
Hey, I feel you. Hey, whatever. I feel you though. Like that's because I go to a lot of pay-per-views, and that's how I am too. Because like I like to get there, but I always like to when I go now. I like to stay out. There's a hotel right across from the Allstate Arena, so I literally stay there and I just wait, and then I just run across the street because it's just
that's the way.
That's the way to do it.
But overall, how did you feel about the men's Money in the Bank match?
I mean, I thought it was good. I mean, I don't think it was anything like crazy. I don't think this will be a Money in the Bank match I go back and rewatch a bunch of times because, as I said, I like to rewatch some, but definitely probably will once just to because there's always things that I miss, especially when I'm live because I'm posting, I'm tweeting, I'm talking to people, there's some things I miss and everything. But I mean, I just, there were I honestly, there's really not too many crazy moments that I remember. Like with the women, there were those few. But I mean, it was still a really good match. I feel like it was also a lot of, like we said, or at least with the shenanigans where we saw Bronson and Braun and JC and all of that. Where at one point I'm like, why is nobody running and grabbing the ladder? There's nobody paying attention. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why is nobody paying? Like, that would be the perfect opportunity. So that was the only thing that I kind of had an issue with. But I mean, that's just more or less it is what it is. But I also said it too. My favorite Money in the Bank matches are the ones where like certain people won. So like Tiffany or
Mhm.
Liv or like CM Punk winning. Like that Money in the Bank match might not have been the best, but I still remember CM Punk winning at WrestleMania 24 and 25, or even Seth winning at 2014. I don't know why I didn't like Seth at that time, but maybe it's because of
Mhm.
what it led to. But I don't
Mhm.
know. So that's how I feel about the Money in the Bank matches. But so
Yeah. I
hopefully
mean, they're always gonna be a good time. I'm just, and when everything goes right, it just goes so right. So,
yeah.
overall, I mean, the women's Money in the Bank match, obviously my favorite, and I really think this one is gonna be the one that people look at as like not necessarily the blueprint, but the standard.
Yeah. And
It's the
that's the
standard
thing.
for what the ladder match should be.
Exactly. And that's the thing, like for a while there with like especially the women, I felt like even like when I went back and watched 2018 Money in the Bank one, like there were some women in there like Lana and stuff where it was just like you knew they weren't gonna win. Like with the women,
Yeah.
like honestly, I didn't know who was gonna win because there was
Yeah.
the chance. And especially with everything going on, like JC winning the title on NXT and people randomly winning championships on shows, you didn't know what was gonna happen. That's why I said at one point El Grande could win, or freaking they could put it on somebody like random because you didn't know what the heck they could do. They could, so it's just one of
Yeah.
those things. And I think that's the one thing I kind of do like about WWE is because like we might think we know, but there are definitely times they get us, like with
Oh,
R-Truth
for
and
sure.
Khan and stuff like that. And that's why I hate spoilers. I hate this and that. I don't want to know nothing. I hate
Yeah.
social media. I would love to just be able to go in to watch it when like I was 12 years, because that's what I think about. Like I think about being able to watch these shows as a kid. That's why they were so
Mm.
good. Because I wasn't looking on Twitter, I wasn't looking on Facebook, I was just getting ready. Me and my friends were having a party, and it was so cool to watch whoever win this match or this SummerSlam, or when CM
Mhm.
Punk blew the kiss to John Cena. Like it was just like stuff like that. You didn't know what was going on. So, but it's so hard nowadays with social media and like
Yeah.
so. Well, yeah,
And people spoiling stuff and leaking stuff, and it's
also
too
leaking
much. It's too much. But
like that, and
Tino,
everybody
thank
wants to
you.
see. I appreciate
Oh,
it. Sorry, I'll
yeah.
keep talking.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, though, since
Hey,
Maddie's not here and filling in. And I appreciate your content because, like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people can be really fake, but I feel like you're someone who is just like authentically yourself. So I really
oh,
appreciate that. Um, if you
and that's what
wanna,
I always say. Yeah, well, I appreciate that so much because that's what I always like to say.
yeah,
I'm never gonna be somebody I'm not, and I always joke around turning heel and everything because there's times I get frustrated. And there's this and that, but like I'm
yeah,
never gonna like go and like, and I definitely do over and put my like over maybe sometimes to certain things, but I mean like that's what
I
you got
mean,
to
yeah,
do to make it entertaining and everything. So I really appreciate you coming on. We'll definitely have to figure out a way to have all three of us on an episode. So hopefully I did my best, Maddie, co-hosting here, but can never
I
replace her. But
mean, you might have let her down with, giving Logan Paul praises, but
oh, oh
I
yeah,
think we can forgive that.
Maddie, don't yell at me if you're in the chat or watching whenever. Hopefully you're having a good day at work. But yeah, I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate everybody in the chat. I see the chat is flowing, so hopefully you guys get some subscribers and all that good stuff. And we'll have to figure a time to come back on, or you guys come on, and
Yeah,
everything
for
else
sure.
like that. I just appreciate it, and it's always fun to be able to collab with people that I have not been able to, or I've been like watching your guys' stuff for a while, so it's nice to finally put a
Thanks, man.
face to the logo and everything, and not just
Yeah.
talking on Instagram. But yeah, you guys can find me on Tino's Time. I am part of the Main Event Network, so go and check them out and everything else like that. I do have a baseball podcast. If people in the chat like baseball, I do support, sadly, one of the worst teams in baseball, the White Sox. But you can support us. Go and check out the South Side Boys, all that good stuff. As I said earlier, we're on the road to 4,000 subscribers now on YouTube.
Mhm.
So if you have not yet hit that subscribe button, as I said, we live Monday, Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and everything else like that. So usually, if you want to find me, I'm always live and I'm always doing something. If there's, and I always say if anybody ever wants to come on and anything, I'm usually there watching it by myself, and I always love to have people on. So thank you so much, Mary, for having me on. It was nice to chat and recap this show that was Money in the Bank, and now it's time to move on to the next one. No stop now, right?
Yeah.
Don't stop
But
now.
really, really quick side note. I think you should start making content about women's basketball. Just saying.
Women's
Branch
basketball.
out.
All right.
Yeah. You do
Is it,
baseball, football, branch out to
I
women's basketball. Just saying.
I always like to say I do so much where like I like to have stuff I do watch like hockey and stuff like that and all, like AEW, like I still watch it and I do some like the pay-per-views, but I gotta have something to watch. But yeah, no, that's kind of, you know, like, that could be something that what do you guys think in the chat? Let me know in the chat, guys, from the people in my
Comment
chat.
down below if he should start if he should pick a WNBA team to follow.
I'm
Thank
all
you guys so
whatever the
much for
people want.
watching. Make
Thank
sure
you
you
guys.
guys like this video, comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't already. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok for more content, and we will see you guys, me and Maddie, next Sunday. Bye, guys.